What is going on, Fit Fam? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan Janice. I'm the founder of Nomadic Fitness, where I teach you ladies how to eat way more food and work out smarter instead of harder so that you can get that lean, sexy hourglass body and keep it easily for life. If you are new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are returning, then welcome on back and thank you for joining for another video. All right, today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is the 5 best exercises to pop your glutes, grow that booty, pump that bubble butt. Obviously, all of us ladies love growing that peach. So I'm gonna walk you through my top 5 favorite exercises that have seriously helped me see a lot of development in my derriere and are gonna do the same for you. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the most famous, most obvious glute building exercise, and that is a barbell hip thrust. So this exercise does require a little bit of a setup, which can sometimes be kind of annoying. And I know it might feel a little bit intimidating if you're new to the gym and you just might feel like you want to skip it, but trust me, it is so worth it. It is literally the queen of booty building, and that is why you see it everywhere, because it works so freaking well. So don't worry if you're a little bit nervous. I'm gonna walk you through step by step exactly how to set up for this exercise, how to do the form correctly, and also just a few little hacks you can do if you are a beginner and you just want an easier way to get it done. So let's actually set up for this exercise top to bottom. Okay, so obviously first thing, you're gonna need a bench like this. Then you're gonna grab your barbell. So just grabbing any barbell in the gym, and we're gonna put that on the ground. Now you're going to take a barbell plate and you're gonna come down, grab the bar on the inside of this end part, lift it up, and then you're gonna slide on that barbell plate and then just leave it like this because I'm gonna show you how we're gonna even it out afterwards. Grab the other barbell plate, same thing, stick it at the end, and now you're going to slide it on. Okay, and then this is the easiest way to set it up. Crouch down and pull the plate actually towards you. That is definitely the easiest way to set it up and not be like struggling so much with all the weight. And then same thing on this side, pull it towards you. Ta-da! So if you want to be sure that the barbells are going to stay in place, you always can grab some barbell clips and just slide them on each end. However, you don't really need to use these. The barbell plates aren't going to move around too much, but just if you want to be extra secure, then you can grab these. Okay, so other pieces of equipment for this exercise, definitely recommend getting a barbell pad like this, because obviously you need some sort of cushion so that the bar is not going to dig into your hip bones. So I honestly just bought my own off of Amazon. They're like $10, and then I bring it with me to the gym every time. But most gyms are going to have them, or if they don't have this, you can always take a yoga mat and fold it up a bunch of times. So just find some sort of cushion, but it's definitely worth getting one of these. And then an optional piece of equipment is you can also grab a booty band of some kind. I definitely prefer the fabric kind more than the rubber kind. And then you can put it on just above your knees. And then when you're thrusting up, it's just gonna help keep the resistance a little bit more on your glutes. Because even if you do it just body weight like this, you can feel that your knees are kind of pushing out against the band, and that's overloading your glutes a little bit more. But you don't really have to use the band. It's up to you. You're definitely still gonna feel it even without the band. Okay, so getting into position. So you wanna make sure that your bench is not too low or too high. Kind of like you wanna be able to hook your shoulder blades onto the top of the bench, and that's how you're gonna know you're at the right height. Lift your hands out in front of you. You should be able to touch the end of your feet right here with your fingertips. So now you know you're in the right position. We're gonna roll the barbell right over top here. Obviously make sure that it is even. Now, what you're gonna do is you're going to push through your heels, thrusting your hips up. So thrust up all the way. Okay, so really important, because this is a little tweak I recently made, and it made such a difference in how much of a pump I get out of this exercise and how much glute growth I get, which is you think you're thrusting all the way up, but actually if you really think about, okay, thrust as high as I possibly can, fully lock out my hips at the top, you'll be surprised that there might be a little bit more range of motion that you were skimping on before. So really drive through those heels and thrust all the way, like full hip extension here. Squeeze for a second at the top there and come back down. And again, I really want you to think that it's the glutes that are lifting the barbell up here, okay? Imagine that you're scooping ice cream with your tailbone, and when you really do that muscle-mind connection, you're gonna feel such a difference. Okay, and then I'm also gonna show you how you take the bar apart when you're all done, because I know that part can seem a little bit confusing and scary, and I have figured out the easiest way that you can do it. What you're gonna have to do is you're gonna come on the outside of the bar, and you're gonna pull the plate again towards you. Then you grab the bar there and place it down gently. If you don't do that, it's gonna fall kind of loud on the floor, which is not a big deal, but just if you wanna be a little bit more quiet. And then what you can do is stand on this side of the bar, on the inside of the plate, pick the barbell up, and then stand on top of the plate and pull out the bar. And then you just put the bar back where you got it. All right, so if you are a bit of a beginner in the gym and you feel intimidated and just kind of freaked out to go set up the barbell and all the plates and everything, a really good starting alternative is to use the Smith machine, because you don't need to be worried about the barbell rolling around. You're gonna be totally safe in here, and it's still a really amazing way to get in the hip thrust and really overload your glutes without having to do as much setup. So this is another great option. So I'm just gonna show you how you would set this up. So you're gonna bring your bench over to the Smith machine, come over here, unrack it, and bring the bar down. And then same thing, you're gonna put some plates on each side. All right, so just make sure that the bar is set low enough to be in the right hip thrust position. Grab your pad, put that on the bar, and then make sure bench is at the right position. So I'm a little bit too close here. All right, here we go. Here you can see that I'm gonna be in the right position to thrust. So now we're going to twist the bar so that it's gonna unrack, and then lowering all the way down as much as you can, and then push back up, squeeze your glutes, lower back down. Okay, the second best exercise to pop those glutes is an RDL, which stands for Romanian deadlift. So this is one of the best exercises you see all the girls doing, and for good reason, because it seriously works that booty. So this is a hip hinge movement, which is also what a hip thrust is, but it's kind of the opposite direction. A hip thrust is hinging this way, whereas an RDL is hinging back. And because of that, you end up using a lot of both glutes and the hamstrings, so it also works the back of your legs very nicely. So you can do this two ways. You can do it with a barbell and with dumbbells. I'm gonna show you how to do both, and honestly, both of them are really great options. You should kind of just play around, experiment, do a little bit of both, see which one you prefer. The difference with doing it on a barbell is you're ultimately gonna be able to do a lot more weight and really overload your legs, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so grabbing your barbell with your hands just outside your legs. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is lock your lats. So pinch your shoulder blades together, pushing your shoulders back. Now you're gonna put a decent sized bend in your knee. So not like a tiny bend, not a huge bend, but the more of a bend that you have, the more you're gonna be able to overload your glutes and thrust your hips back. Imagine there's a rope around your hips pulling you back towards the wall, and because of that, you are lowering down. And you're gonna go all the way to where the bar is about midway on your shin, and then you're gonna come back up. So tucked shoulders, pinching your lats, bending your knee, lowering down, pushing your hips back towards the wall, coming down to about this mid shin point, and then coming back up. And you're not gonna come up to a full lockout like that, to about here. So this is gonna keep the tension on the glutes the entire time. So driving those hips back towards the wall, mid shin here, really sticking your hips back as far as you can, coming back up, and just a little kind of tuck at the top, not a full extension. So the thing with RDLs is that it can feel a little bit hard on your hands to grip a heavy barbell like that for a long time. So that's why I definitely recommend getting some sort of wrist strap or wrap for the barbell. I really love my Versa grips. They help me hold heavy barbells so much more comfortably, which allows me to be able to lift a lot more weight so I can overload my glutes and legs without my wrists or hands giving out. And personally, I like an underhand, overhand grip. It just allows me to be able to lift a little bit more comfortably. So my left hand is under the bar, my right hand is over the bar. A lot of girls use mixed grips like this just to be able to hold the barbell better. So experiment and see what works for you. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you some dumbbell RDLs, which honestly is a really good variation. And definitely if you're more of a beginner, I would start with these. Just make sure that you are choosing dumbbells that are challenging enough, because if you're using really light weight, you might be like, I don't really feel this that much. So in order to overload the glutes, the biggest muscle in your entire body, you've gotta be putting some resistance on it. And trust me, you can lift heavier than you think. So really, really push yourself and keep getting stronger. So I'm still gonna use my Versa grips here just to be able to grab these weights a little bit more comfortably. And then same thing, pinching your shoulder blades, locking your lats. You're gonna put that bend in your knee, pushing your hips back towards the wall, keeping your back totally flat, coming down to about your shin. Should feel a really intense engagement in your hamstrings right about here. And now coming back up, little tuck at the top, not a complete lockout. Okay, next up, we have got Bulgarian split squats. I know everybody's hate-love relationship with this exercise. It is one of the hardest exercises, but it is also so freaking good at building our booty and our legs simultaneously, so we gotta do it. So with this one, here are some tweaks just to hit your glutes a little bit more and a little bit less your quads. So if you take a massive step forward and you keep your chest upright and you're going down like this, you're gonna be hitting your quads way more. However, if you do the opposite, if you keep your body actually fairly close to the bench, so kind of like a medium step forward, and then you're gonna lean your chest forward a good bit. Now, when you come down, you wanna get as low as you can. Again, still keeping your chest forward here, leaning your torso forward a little bit, and then pushing up through that heel. And trust me, you're gonna feel such a good contraction in that glute ham tie-in. And definitely don't be afraid to challenge yourself with the weight here. I have 20s right now because I'm just demonstrating, but a lot of the time I will literally do like 50 pounds in each hand, which is very, very hard, but it freaking works, so we gotta do it. All right, next up, my fourth favorite booty building exercise is some cable kickbacks. So this is definitely a little bit more of an isolation exercise. You don't have to go very heavy, but it will really allow you to hyper focus on building the glutes. And I'm gonna show you two different ways to do it, where you're gonna be focusing more on the glute max. So that's more the actual big bubble butt, and then a little bit more on the glute medius and minimus, which is here on the side of your butt. And that's really gonna help round out your butt and kind of build the shelf, which is kind of what makes your booty actually pop out. All right, so just like with your barbell pad, I recommend getting your own ankle strap. A lot of gyms do have them, but I just think it's worth spending $10 and getting your own, and then you can bring it with you to the gym every time. So you're gonna connect it on the lowest setting on the cable machine here, wrap it around your leg. And then one other little hack I like is to just get a barbell plate and then put that on the ground and then stand on top of it with my straight leg, because I find it just gives you a little bit more elevation to kick back with and then not have your foot hitting the ground. All right, so strap it around your ankle, and then you're gonna be leaning over, chest kind of parallel to the ground, and then you're gonna kick straight back all the way up, squeeze and hold there at the top for a second. And you can kind of play around with the positioning that you like of your chest to the ground. Some people definitely do it a little bit more straight up, but personally, I always like to lean forward a little bit and then have that little squeeze hold at the top. And this is definitely an exercise you can go for higher reps, since it is not as much weight and since it's very isolating. So sometimes, you know, you can go up to even as much as 15 reps per leg. All right, now I'm gonna show you actually my favorite way to do this, which is gonna be a little bit more kicking out at an angle. So kicking out at like a 30-45 degree angle, and you're gonna feel that's a little bit more here in the side booty, which is gonna round out the bubble butt very nicely. So same thing, I like to stand on the barbell plate, strap your ankle in, and then again leaning forward a little bit. And now this time, instead of kicking out straight back like we did for the glute max, we're gonna kick out a little bit to the side and bring it back in. And actually for this one, you can once again go a little bit lighter, because I actually find it's a little bit more of a difficult range of motion, so you don't need quite as much weight, and it's a much smaller muscle than the glute max. All right, fam, last of my top 5 favorite glute exercises is gonna be a glute reverse hyper. So that's gonna be on this contraption. You just wanna make sure with this one that the actual setup is right, because a lot of the time my clients ask me like that they're not really feeling this one in their glutes, and then I see that the actual cushion was still too high for them. So that's really important that you make sure that you set that low enough so that when you're actually doing the motion, you're gonna be able to go all the way. So there shouldn't be anything getting in your way from coming up at the glutes here. You can put on a band again for this one, but you don't have to. You can kind of just play around with that and see which one is gonna be best for you. And then you wanna make sure you have some sort of kettlebell, dumbbell, barbell plate, some sort of weight that you can use. You can obviously do these body weight as well to start, but you wanna add in some resistance so you can really grow those glutes. Bringing it up, and then you wanna be rounding your shoulders like this, okay? So you don't wanna be pinching your shoulder blades, you wanna be rounding in your back like this. And then what you're gonna be doing is imagine that you're pushing your hips into the pad here, and that you're actually extending up from your glute. Your glutes are lifting you up here, lowering all the way down, rounded shoulders, and then pushing into that barbell pad. Give a little squeeze at the top before you come back down. All right, fam, so there you have it. Those are my top 5 glute growth exercises. So make sure to give them a go, and really important to push yourself with intensity. Really make sure that you are focusing on good quality form, full range of motion, and that you are consistently getting stronger, so that you're either doing more reps over time, more quality reps, more time under tension, more full range of motion, and then of course, especially adding weight to your barbell or to your dumbbells over time. So put in the intensity, put in the focus, and just keep at it, be consistent. And trust me, it won't be long before you really start to see some glute growth happening back there. So thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below if there's anything else you want to see from me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.